वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की fateh. Dear brothers and sisters, you know that nowadays I have been giving you the posts regarding Singh Sabha movement and Gurdwara reform movement, also known as Akali movement, because Akali party had come into existence by that time. In my last post, I discussed Guru Ka Bagh Morcha. Today I will be discussing two more morchas, that is Jaito Morcha and Panja Sahib Morcha. So, Jaito Morcha is the name given to the Akali agitation that took place in February 1924 for the restoration of the throne of Maharaja Ripudaman Singh of Naba. In fact, Maharaja Ripudaman Singh of Naba was taking a lot of interest in the Gurdwara reform movement and was supporting the Akalis in this respect. He was also known to be a patriot and supporting the freedom movement. So the Britishers were not very happy with him. Ultimately, they decided to dethrone him and force him to abdicate the throne in favor of his minor son. This act of the Britishers was not liked by the Sikhs. They protested against it. A lot of morchas started, a lot of processions were undertaken in this regard, and agitation took place. Further, when they planned some Akhand parts in support of this contention that the Ripudaman Singh should be restored, his throne, so the Britishers disrupted even the Akhand part. Not only this, they stopped the entry of the Sikhs in Gurdwara Gangsar in Naba district, where these parts were to take place and religious ceremonies were to take place. So Sikhs thought that it was an interference in their religious affairs. So that was a cause for the Jaito Morcha. Jaito is a place in Naba district. The apex religious body of the Sikhs had observed 100 years of this morcha last year. So the main feature of this morcha was that they should be allowed to run their religious affairs in their way, and they should not be stopped from undertaking Akhand parts and other religious ceremonies in Gurdwara Gangsar. Many morchas came from Akal Takht Sahib, and not only this, one of these groups started a morcha from Calcutta. They came to Jaito and were arrested on this account because they also supported the Akalis on this ground. It is stated that 11 persons had formed a group from Canada, and they also came in support of these protesters. So the Britishers were enraged. So on one of these processions, protesting against them and trying to enter the Gurdwara, were fired. A number of persons were killed also. So they had to sacrifice people, and this morcha ultimately resulted into the acceptance of the demand of release of all the prisoners and permission to do their Akhand parts in Gurdwara Gangsar. The management was handed over to them. Not only this, an act was passed in 1925, SGPC Act, which was a result of mainly of this morcha. It may also be stated that in memory of those who became martyrs in this morcha, there is a Gurdwara now known as Tibi Sahib, Gurdwara Tibi Sahib. A unique feature of this morcha of Jaito was that even the national leaders like Nehruji and other Congress persons joined this morcha in support of the Sikhs and against the Britishers. The next morcha is that of Nankana Sahib. I had only mentioned Panja Sahib. It's in Nankana Sahib. The control of Nankana Sahib Gurdwara was under the Mahant Narayan Das. He was a corrupt and immoral person. He was doing immoral practices inside the Gurdwara. So Sikhs were aggrieved against him and wanted that the management control should be given to the Sikhs. In this morcha also, many morchas had to come, peaceful morchas were undertaken, but even then, one of these jathas was fired at and 130% were killed. Peaceful jatha of these Sikhs were shot at the instance of Narayan Das, who was being protected by the government. Mahatma Gandhi and the governor of Punjab province visited the place of massacre. Ultimately, the government had to surrender the management to the Sikhs. As the Sikhs were getting support from the nationalist leaders and other communities, the movement got connected with the independence movement. This was a unique feature of this Singh Sabha and the Gurdwara reform movement. This is proved by the fact that when the Sikhs agitated for the keys of the Tosha Khana of Sri Harmandir Sahib, the Britishers were not agreeing earlier, but ultimately they had to surrender here also, and they handed over the keys to Baba Khadak Singh of SGPC after considerable resistance. Mahatma Gandhi had stated at that time by sending a congratulatory telegram to Baba Khadak Singh that it was the first battle won for the fight of the freedom of for independence of the country. The Singh Sabha movement turning into Gurdwara reform movement was unique in this respect also, that they had bigger objects, including the freedom of the country. These movements were different from the movements organized by Hindus and Muslims in the sense that whereas those movements had main aim of educating their people, but these movements were aimed at different motives. One of the aims was the freedom of the country. As they had merged, these movements had merged with the national movement of freedom, so we can say that freedom of the country was also their main object. Then reformed their Gurdwaras, then enriching their community. For that purpose, the Punjab Sindh Bank played a vital role. These movements were different in this sense also, that Sikhs had to give a lot of sacrifices because the freedom of the country, the main aim was also had become a part of these movements. So they had to give sacrifices. A large number of Sikhs were killed for getting the freedom of the Gurdwaras, ultimately the freedom of the country. So the other movements did not have any such claim. So we can say that the movements are different in the sense. So our Punjab Sindh Bank is concerned, we can say that this bank also was a unique institution of these movements. Now you will say that how it is different because it is just like other banks. Yes, it is like other banks, but it played a vital role in fulfilling the objects of these movements. This bank was founded on 24th June 1908 by Veer Singh, Sarsundar Singh Majithia, and Satalochan Singh, and its first branch was opened in Hall Bazaar, Amritsar on that day. So this bank fulfilled the purpose. I will tell you that firstly for the propagation of the religion, Sikh religion, and secondly for making the community richer both in respect of establishing their business by giving them loans, etc., and also by giving them employment. When Dr. Inderjeet Singh became its chairman, so he saw to it that most of the Punjabis, particularly in general, and Sikhs in particular, were employed by the bank in big numbers, and various branches were opened, including a branch in London. So that is why when this bank was nationalized, and when it became a part of the national banking cadre, so many of its senior officers rose so high in ranks that in combined banking hierarchy, they could get the chance of becoming chairman of other banks also. For example, Allahabad Bank, Punjab National Bank, the chairman of these banks were also drawn from this bank. So we can say that this was also a unique feature of these two movements. Before now, I would request you to continue to hear our posts, like this post, and also subscribe to our channel Uniqueness of Sikhism. I shall be grateful and thank you very much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।